For this lesson, I decided to focus on the first grade standards, and we are going to be talking about the theme of light. So, our first lesson for this unit, we're going to be going into science. For this lesson, students are going to start to gain background knowledge through this YouTube video of sources of light. They're going to talk about the different types of light that comes through and what we use that light for. And then for processing, students are going to create their own light box, and they're going to experiment using different types of materials to see what happens to the light when you shine a light on those different materials. For mastery, students will verbally and physically demonstrate their understanding of how light travels through those different materials. For a cross-curricular application, we are going to be using art. In science, students are going to create the different materials they need for the experiment. And then our fine arts element is composition. So students are going to be creating this experiment. It's going to be a process for them to demonstrate how light travels through different materials. Then we're going to move over to math. For math, we're going to color the lights by numbers. So to look at different types of lights, I'm going to bring in some Christmas lights, one broken strand and one that works. And I'm going to need my students' help to fix my Christmas lights. So students are going to be completing this little worksheet here. They're going to find the missing number on all of these problems, and then they're going to color in the lights with the corresponding answer. So this is going to help me fix my Christmas lights that I brought in, and then students are going to be assessed based on their accuracy and completion of this worksheet. I also think it would be fun to hang up the fixed Christmas lights around the classroom for the remainder of this unit. So my fine arts element that I'm using is art because students will be coloring in their worksheets here. And then my cross-curricular application is, of course, science, in which students are going to be exposed to a different type of light in the Christmas lights. Then we're moving on to social studies. Now, we wouldn't have light bulbs if it wasn't for Thomas Edison, so we're going to look at Thomas's timeline. We're going to read a little bit about Thomas Edison here in his book by Lola Schaefer. This is at about a 1.9 reading level, I believe, so perfect fit for these students. And students will create a timeline that follows the sequence of Thomas Edison's life. They're going to be using poster board and the given materials that I have for them. And then students are going to display their timelines during our puppet show performance that we will be doing in drama a little bit later on. We will also use those timelines to help us create our drama. For our cross-curricular application for social studies, they are going to be learning about Thomas Edison, who of course discovered the light bulb. And then our fine arts element is drama and art or composition. Students are creating their timeline in which students will use for their puppet drama. Then moving right along to technology, we're going to talk about the importance of light, and we're going to do that through Flipgrid. Before the lesson starts, I'm going to actually shut off all the lights in the classroom, with the exception of sunlight. I'm going to let some sunlight in because first graders get a little bit nervous in the dark. I just want to demonstrate to them what life would be like without the light bulb. So I'm going to shut off all the technology that we use that uses light and see what the reaction is to that. And then students are going to be introduced to Flipgrid during this lesson. They're going to think back to social studies and science. They're going to tell us in Flipgrid why they think light is important. And then for mastery, students are going to share those Flipgrid responses with their parents, and they're even going to show their parents how to respond on Flipgrid, and the parents will answer that post themselves. For our cross-curricular application, they're using science and social studies. With technology, students will describe the importance of the light bulb and how it is used. And then our final arts element is composition. Students will be composing their own ideas of why they believe light is important. Moving right along to art, we are going to be doing making stained glass windows. So to introduce the lesson, I will bring in my own stained glass windows. potentially real ones and ones that I made from home. Students are going to create their own stained glass windows and using tissue paper or paint or other materials that they think they can use for those. Window clings are going to be displayed in the classroom, and we are also going to be using those during our puppet show. So our cross-curricular application is science. So of course in art here, we are going to be creating special materials to discover how light travels through them. And then our fine arts element is composition and color, in which students will compose their own window cling. And we're also going to be using a variety of different colors for this project. Coming over to language arts, students are going to be creating their own acrostic light poem. So introduce the lesson, I'm going to show them how to create an acrostic poem, and then we're going to create a list of words on the board that relate to light. For processing, students are going to be composing their acrostic poem using the word light, and then they're going to create a poster. So before they create the poster, they're going to use a little worksheet like this that helps guide them through the composition of their poem. And then for mastery, students are going to share their poems on Flipgrid, and their posters will be displayed during our performance night of the drama. Our cross-curricular application is, of course, science and technology. So in language arts, students will compose their own acrostic poem, and they're going to be sharing their poem on Flipgrid. And we do have an arts element in here of composition in which students will compose their own acrostic poem. Over here to music, we're going to be creating a flashlight dance. So to introduce the lesson, my team teachers and I will create our own flashlight dance using different colors, and we're going to come in and we're going to perform it for our students. And then students are going to create their own flashlight choreography. So they're going to learn motions and keep the beat to Diamonds by Rihanna. So we're going to have a whole class flashlight choreography here for music, and then students are going to be performing their flashlight choreography on performance night. So our fine arts element is, of course, music and dance. So students are going to be creating their flashlight dance. We could also add color in here. Music and dance, they are going to be using the elements of beat and rhythmic pattern. And then our cross-curricular application is science, in which students will be working with flashlights, a different type of light over here. And we're also going to be looking at how the lights on top of the flashlight are going to change the color of the light that's displayed. And finally, we're going to end it off with a big drama unit here. So we're going to be doing a shadow puppet show, and during the shadow puppet show, we're going to begin the unit, or begin this whole drama series, with this introduction to shadows.
There goes Mr. Deer. Oh, and there's Mr. Crow.
So students are going to be learning what shadow puppets really are all about, and then I'm going to actually separate students into 5 different groups, and they're going to be using our social studies timelines to provide a script for each group, and each group will actually have their the same script, but it's going to be grouped a little bit differently to make it easier for parents to come in and see their students. So the script is going to describe how light travels through the materials, and then they're going to use their window clings and create different props for their puppet show. For mastery, students are going to perform their shadow puppet in rotations. So for my rotations here, we're going to have all the students do the flashlight dance, and then in groups, they're going to go separate. One group is going to start with the puppet show. The next group is going to do their Flipgrid presentations with their parents. And then the last rotation, the students are going to be showing their light box and their acrostic poems to their parents. So with drama here, my cross-curricular application is science, social studies, and art. Students are going to be creating our puppet show using shadows, using Thomas Edison's timeline from social studies, and then stained glass windows from art. And then finally, our drama students. Fine arts element is drama, in which students are creating the shadow puppet drama that utilizes a timeline